Hi everyone and welcome to the fourth lesson on Muse. Today's lesson is all about comparison. Let's go ahead and start off with just the overview of the course. This is a writing, analysis, and research course, and today's lesson, because it is on comparison, focuses more on that analysis part of the course. So just to get ourselves oriented, let's go ahead and jump into today's lesson now. What is comparison? Well, here's a very simple definition of comparison. There are a lot of technical definitions you could find in dictionaries, but I tried to make it as easy to understand. So comparison is simply the process of noticing similarities between two or more objects. So you take two or more objects and you just point out the things that are similar between those two objects, things that are the same. Let's go ahead and do a few examples. You'll see two pictures of balls on the screen, a football and a soccer ball. Let's go ahead and compare these two objects. Remember, comparison is pointing out ways that they are similar, ways that they are the same. So first of all, I noticed that they are both balls. One's called a football, the other one's called a soccer ball, but they're both balls. So that's one way that they are similar. They're also both used for sports. And lastly, they are both used in team sports. And I'm sure you could come up with a lot of other reasons and a lot of other similarities, but those are the three that I just came up with. So comparison is pointing out things that are similar. All right, let's try one other example. So this one's a little bit harder. I have a camera and a block of cheese. So how could a camera and a block of cheese be similar? Is there anything that's similar between these two objects? So if you want to play along, you can go ahead and pause the video and then compare your observations with my observations. Okay, so here are some thoughts that I came up with. Well, first of all, camera and cheese both begin with a C, so that's one way that they are similar, kind of a technical way that they are similar. Also, both cameras or film and cheese take time to process, to age, so that's something. And then also both sort of have film. A camera has film inside of it, and then cheese sort of has a film on the outside of it. So just trying to think of some ways that cheese and cameras could be similar. Now this week we're going to be comparing the heroes aboard the Titanic with the heroes of 9/11. So we're going to be comparing those two groups of heroes. Comparing meaning pointing out ways that they are similar. All right, so let's go ahead and go over the assignments for today. Today's lesson is rather short. Just watch this video, and then we have a lot of reading to do, which is why I'm trying to make this video short. So read A Night to Remember if you would like. That's optional. And then you have two articles to read, one on Titanic heroes and one on 9/11 heroes. So please read both of those articles. The chapter from A Night to Remember is optional. Next, you're going to work on a Venn diagram handout. Now, Venn is just someone's last name. He was the guy who came up with this diagram, and I put the diagram on the screen. It's basically two or more overlapping circles. So as I said, we're going to be comparing the heroes aboard the Titanic with the heroes of 9/11. So you'll see one circle that is called the Titanic. You'll see the word Titanic here, and another circle over here with the word 9/11. So what you're going to be doing is using this diagram to take notes. Let's go ahead and read through the instructions very briefly. So as you learn about the Titanic heroes and the 9/11 heroes, take notes. Write down characteristics like fearless, prayerful, level-headed. On the left side, if it describes Titanic heroes. So if you think of a word that describes the Titanic heroes, write it here next to the word Titanic. Now if you come up with a word that describes the 9/11 heroes, write it here. And if you come up with a word that describes both the Titanic and 9/11 heroes, write it in the middle where the two circles overlap. So I hope that makes sense. You can use that Venn diagram to help you organize your thoughts and organize your observations. Next, complete the question outline. Let me get that on screen as well. It's very similar to the outline that we had last week. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Remember, outlines are your friends. They're not there to make your life miserable and to put all these impossible rules on you. They're to help you stay organized and to use your time and words most efficiently. So you'll see this on the website, but I also have the main question typed out here. How are the Titanic heroes and the 9/11 heroes similar? So you can see we're obviously comparing them. and then 3 very basic paragraph questions, and then a suggestion for sub-questions. So I'm just suggesting for the first part of the paragraph you could talk about how this characteristic, their, let's say, bravery, how bravery was illustrated of the Titanic heroes, and then how bravery was illustrated by the 9/11 heroes. So using the first half of the paragraph to talk about the Titanic and the second half to talk about 9/11. That's just a suggestion. It's up to you how you want to organize your sub-questions and the middle part of your paragraph. And then, as always, submit your progress report so I know what you were able to complete. Okay, so in summary, remember that comparison is all about pointing out things that are similar, and I would encourage you, as you are doing all that reading, to be an active reader and to be an alert reader. If you're being a passive reader, if you're just letting the words kind of go in one ear and out the other, you're not going to pick up on those characteristics. You're not going to notice things. And this also requires being alert. Okay, well, this wraps up Lesson 4 on comparison. I hope it was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, please let me know.